Hey everyone, this is Rob,
And Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school or RuneScape. All right, so this week up on the docket, of course, as always, we are going to be starting off with a bit of an update from us. What's been going on this week? Luckily, again, not much from me.
No, you actually have changes, just not game related.
Yes. And then we'll be diving right into the updates for this week. There were quite a few blogs that have come out since the last podcast, so we'll be going over all of those. Some really interesting stuff for the future, hopefully, as well as, of course, the update that actually happened in the game. So we'll be covering that, and of course, we'll also be finishing off with our typical Q&A.
Yep.
So before we get into any of that, Michelle, how's it going?
Pretty good. I wrote down like new levels this week, and I think I got more that I didn't write down because all I wrote down was 86 crafting.
Yeah.
I feel like I did more than that. I don't know. I could be tripping right now. I've been having like very per usual vivid dreams, and I dreamt that my construction got up. Just checked. My construction did not go up.
You're like, I just had a dream where I was maxed. Unfortunately, it was not.
I literally dreamt that I got a bunch of genie lamps, I think, and I got my construction up.
Nice.
But I've just been doing like kind of random stuff. I worked on some combat achievement stuff this week. I think that was this week. I got the 50 kills at Krill finally. That took me a while. Because every time I go with people, I usually don't get the kill count.
Krill Suitsroth?
Yeah.
Nice.
That guy. And I also I've been doing a lot more clue scrolls, working on more medium clues.
That's
And
cool.
I'm trying to get back into chambers. So I ran a chambers last night.
I know. I saw you did. Did you do one chambers?
Yeah, I did one
yesterday?
chambers. Because also update, I got a new PC. All my rune light settings, I'm slowly like adding
Yeah.
because I was like, I have everything, and then I went to chambers and I was like, I have nothing.
Oh yeah.
Everything's weird.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, I'm slowly getting used to that, but it's gonna take a while, and I don't want to super jump back in chambers. I didn't feel like doing it more than once, so I was like, I'm not gonna do it more than once unless I want to.
Yeah. And speaking of new setups, we do have a same but different setup. So if we sound a little bit different, you're not crazy. It should sound fine, but again, let us know if it isn't.
Same mic, same everything, but we're at my desk now.
Yeah, different, slightly different.
Yeah. Got a new PC. My light randomly stopped working when I got a new PC. I was streaming in the dark for a few days, but I got a new light to temporarily replace this, at least until Elgato finally responds to my ticket that I submitted.
Yeah, if anyone's wondering, Elgato makes some very good and very not good products.
Yeah.
And it seems from everyone's reviews, the key light is not a good product.
Very, very hit or miss. It
Yeah.
works so well when it works, but when it doesn't work, it is frustrating. It just blinks like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, you'd think that the standard operating procedure of a light just turning on and working would be, the standard, but apparently with Elgato, it is not.
Yeah, it's just like flashing lights. It's probably very not epilepsy friendly.
No, not even close. Yeah, it just keeps flashing forever. You
Yeah,
can't even use it
it's
as
so
a
weird.
normal light whenever it's like busted. Like when it's busted, you just have to return the light apparently.
Yeah, I emailed them. Everything I was reading, people had similar issues. Were like, I just got it replaced, and I was like, does anyone know how to actually fix this?
No,
So
apparently.
I emailed them, and hopefully it's possible.
Maybe they should just like push a firmware update where the power button just is a power button.
Yes, that'd be insane. I
Yeah.
mean, that might be too good.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
it's because they're trying too hard to connect to Wi-Fi and be all this stuff, and I'm like, if you could just like, I'm not even trying to do it on my computer. I'm just manually clicking the button. If it could just turn on, that'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a good review of the one that we currently have because I think it does everything that the Elgato one does at a third of the price, except
We'll see.
it doesn't connect directly to the Stream Deck, which is kind of like it reminds me of like Apple, how like all the Apple ecosystem items
Only work with Apple?
are really expensive because they all work together.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, I mean, also my old light hadn't been connecting to the Stream Deck for a while. It randomly just stopped
Oh, that's
one
good.
day.
Okay, so
Every time I tried, it wouldn't work.
so the reason it's more expensive is
For
not
nothing.
not even a good one. Okay.
But I also got a new chair, which is crooked, so I need to look into that. But other than that, like, it's kind of cool having back support. Kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of cool sitting like a normal human instead of
Oh
like
my
a
God,
mutant.
I can't sit crisscross, and it actually is so annoying because I keep trying to do it, and it's just like pushing on my legs painfully.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
I insist.
Sounds like a user problem.
No, it's the chair.
Oh, okay.
They need to make it wider so I could sit crisscross.
Nice.
It's also nice because we're going through another heat wave, which is so cool, and I'm not sitting in a velvet chair today.
Yeah, so it's slightly not sweaty.
Yeah, now
Or
I'm just sweating a bunch into mesh, which is cool because it like sinks down in the chair. Don't
okay.
have to think about it.
Yeah. So besides it being absolutely disgusting, what else? Anything else in the game?
I did my subathon last week.
Yeah.
It was fun. I don't think I advertised it very well. It was not as crazy as others, but it still was like 13 hours or
It
something.
did seem kind of random.
Yeah, it was a little. It's didn't seem random to me, but I think I don't know. Obviously, I was the one throwing it, so
Yeah.
it didn't seem as random.
Maybe Halloween would have been better.
Maybe. But I did do some of my cosplays. I didn't have time to do all of them. I did my Sandwich Lady, which is like my new favorite cosplay now.
Okay.
And I did Araka from My Hero Academia. I feel like I pronounced her name incorrectly.
Yeah, probably.
And then I did Morticia from Adam's Family. And I just looked very emo. That's when I stopped wearing it. I could have worn another cosplay after that, but that wig was so tight that it gave me a headache for the rest of the stream.
That's good. Yeah.
I only wore it for like an hour, and I was like, no more wigs.
Yeah, you had to make sure it was really tight because you like do a bunch of head banging when you're streaming, right?
No, whenever I was at Comic-Con, if you don't tighten it in the back, the wigs just slowly slide back on your head over time.
Okay.
And I have a widow's peak, and so it was a whole thing. But anyway, it was still fun. I still have to also find vegan marshmallows to do a Chubby Bunny challenge because I thought they sold them at Target, and they do not.
No.
I have to make a special trip sometime. And I'm still planning on doing my other cosplays. I'm waiting till after the heat wave, though.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. How have you been?
I have been pretty good, but you also played other games. You're just like,
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I played Resident Evil 2 and I finished it.
yeah,
Yeah. Bosses were awful.
it was very difficult to watch. She is not a gamer
I'm a gamer.
guess.
I'm not a first-person shooter gamer.
Okay, yeah, she's not a well-rounded gamer.
Rude. But I was like seriously struggling. One of the bosses I was at for an hour, and it was kind of extra annoying because I ended up going back to my previous loaded save and like had more health going back into it, and it only took me like 3 tries with more health. Basically, I went in with no health, no weapons, basically, and all he'd have to do was hit me once and I would die. And that was not the strategy for 45 minutes. So I really wish I'd gone back to the previous save earlier.
Well, that's experience, you know.
That's experience. And I was talking about, I like that game. I don't think I'd play it again. At least, maybe I'd play the other storyline. There's 2 character storylines. But I hate whenever games are like boss locked. It's a very common thing in games, right?
It's almost every single game.
I hate it. I noticed that whenever I was playing like Ori and the Will of the Wisp and Ori and the Blind Forest, like I hate being stuck somewhere in a game for like an hour and you can't leave. I think it's so frustrating.
I mean,
I just like exploring games, I guess.
yeah, I was like, I see where you're coming from, but that's also the challenge of pretty much every single game.
I thought the game was challenging enough already, to be honest.
I think you think that because this is like your first like game that's this like standard style. Like most games you played aren't like this. But if this is like your 5th game, like for me, I got to a point where like, because I've been playing single player games since the beginning of time. And I got to a point where like I would beat games so fast it was uneconomical for me to like play new games. Because I would like God of War when it came out, God of War 3. I bought it, $60, beat it in the same day I got it, and then returned it because that was like that made sense for me because I'll just beat them so fast.
Yeah, I mean, maybe also just because it was gifted to me, so I'm not feeling as much pressure for it to be like, this better be worth the money.
Yeah.
But I didn't enjoy the boss fights. It's not even like, I felt good about it after. I found no joy in the boss fights, and they took away from my experience, Loki. That's a very personal preference, but I'm like, I'm not here to fight bosses. I'm here for like the story and for scariness.
Yeah, that's just that's a weird thing. You're in the minority.
Yeah, it's like Phasmophobia. Like I love Phasmophobia because it's very like Monster of the Week, I guess. There's no big bad. The big bads kind of annoy me. Amnesia I liked because Amnesia is similar in that there is a big bad, but you don't have to defeat it. It's just like a storyline.
That's funny because I dislike Phasmo for the same reason that you like it. Because to me it seems almost if there's like it's like an online game, but not like in Counter-Strike, for example. You just play the game to get better, which I guess is kind of
like Phasmo.
How Phasmo is.
Yeah,
but I don't like Phasmo because there's no like it doesn't really seem like you're like really getting better, but like at least in in first player games, like you build up to a boss and then you like defeat the boss, which is like a culmination of all the things you learned about the game that up to that point.
I liked how Amnesia did it because it was like that. You get to a boss, but at the end, you don't have to like fight a boss for an hour and a half, which I
Well,
think's
to be fair, most
rude.
people don't spend even close to half an hour on those bosses.
I'm not most people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the minority with that, but
Yeah, let us know if you like single player
God, I
games
was
or
frustrated.
not.
I like single player games, didn't like that. I like how Amnesia did it. Amnesia also has it, so you have 3 different storylines at the end that you could choose from, so you could like leave and come back and do a different version.
Okay.
But they take kind of forever, and I had to keep marking my stream as mature because that's when they showed the person breastfeeding.
Yeah.
3 different times they showed her boob. But yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna play Resident Evil 3 and all the others. I just skipped the first one. I was told to skip it.
It's a very old game.
Yeah, I was told I'd probably want to go back later for story, but
Yeah, that'd be like
not now.
like people probably don't recommend going back and playing the first Metal Gear Solid, even though Metal Gear is probably one of the best story-wise series in all of gaming history. A lot of people wouldn't recommend going back and playing the first one because it came out on PlayStation 1 and it's like top down and it's just like really weird compared to the newer games.
Yeah,
So most people would say start at 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll go back someday because I am interested in the story and stuff, but not for a minute. I have like 7 more to play first.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll start that soon. I'm intimidated to start it though because Robert told me that this guy's going to be chasing me around the entire game.
Yeah, it's a very well-known fact that Nemesis follows you all of RE3.
Nemesis is this big dude that you can't kill.
It's a giant zombie that is very smart
very humanoid
and doesn't die.
Yeah, you just shoot him until he drops on a knee, and then you run away, and he makes his way to you again.
Yeah.
That's actually why I was playing Phasmophobia last night instead of starting Resident 3, low-key, because I was thinking about you said that, and I was like, that sounds awful. I hate being chased in games.
Yeah,
Stresses
that's all
me
he
out.
does.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, how are you?
Pretty good. I have continued to not play any video games.
Mhm.
It's been over a month. I got pretty close. I got really close.
Didn't
to
you play a
playing.
little bit, you said?
No, I downloaded Overwatch 2.
Mhm.
I had the game loaded. And I like looked through all the heroes and stuff like that, and then I turned off the game. So I was almost there. Almost there. But
Someday you'll be able to reward yourself with video games.
yeah, someday. I actually saw a really yeah, so it's kind of funny. I saw like a really relatable like video the other day where someone's like, "Oh, I finally, got this job that I've been working towards and like I was actually able to play video games and like didn't have not like regrettable like a regrettable feeling, but like
You were just too hard on yourself whenever you play video games. Like, you can't have fun. You have to study.
no, I think that's what a
lot of people are
of
like that.
people like specifically when you're working towards something and then you play video games, or at least I and I think a lot of other people feel like I could be working towards that.
Yeah, you're just really hard on yourself.
I don't know. I think that's pretty natural to like feel like like cuz it's like a commitment, like you know what you should be doing but you're like procrastinating essentially. And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll get there eventually, but
But you're working towards something new temporarily. Did you want to share it?
yeah, so I'm working in getting certified in certain IT certifications. So
Yeah. So he could upgrade to a better job while he studies the software engineering.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of studying. I study like a million hours a day. It's really, really fun, really cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, until then, I will be on video game hiatus continued.
Yeah.
I may play from time to time, but maybe not. Who knows?
Not as seriously.
Yeah.
Which is great that you're in this podcast. You're gonna come back to RuneScape and everything's gonna be so different.
I mean, I still stay up to date with many different video games, including OSRS. So there's not a ton that I'm like surprised by.
Mhm.
Like, and honestly, there's not a ton intriguing me to like come back and be like, oh, I wish I was playing RuneScape right now.
Fair. Maybe they changed it this week.
Certainly not. But yeah, there's very little as far as like games go where I'm like, oh, I wish I was playing this particular game
Mhm.
or anything like that. I mean, dating got pretty close yesterday when he was talking about playing in the Fresh Start world. Spoiler alert. But I mean, that sounded like it could be fun, or I was like, man, I could make a lot of money doing that, and then that feeling faded.
Yeah. I'm just like way too lazy to do that.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
sure a lot of people are gonna make money from it.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of the update, though, we can go into what we wanted to talk about this week, starting with not the update.
Yeah, this one I'm actually very interested in. And
Are you? Do you
it's
even know what this
very
is pertaining
controversial.
to?
Yeah. We were talking about this on Discord and stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this very first blog, it came out on the 13th, just shortly after our last podcast, but it's
Mm-hmm.
called Games of Chance and Real World Trading. So obviously everyone knows real world trading is bad.
I think we might have mentioned a tweet about this last week. I don't think that this whole thing wasn't out yet though.
No, I think this all started after last week's podcast, so I don't think any of it is in it
Yeah.
because a particular event sparked this blog.
I don't know
Um,
what sparked it.
yeah, so the very first paragraphs are what sparked this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, but I guess this has all been a culmination of things that has like finally come to a head. So, the very first thing is called community chucking. So, for anyone that doesn't know what community chucking is, it's very similar to like when people used to lend GP for staking and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So I'll just go through and read it for everyone.
Yep.
So, as you know, the main reason for the dual arena's removal was the stop activity, which we deemed unacceptable in line with our rules. However, we've noticed that since the introduction of the PvP arena, these rule breaking activities have adapted accordingly. Who would have thought? Chucks or chucking refers to PvP duels created with high stakes, sometimes involving a middleman, where player A deathmatches player B. If player A loses, they get nothing, but if they win, they receive double the initial wager.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is like kind of weird. They mainly have a problem with the middleman thing. It's weird that they don't have a problem with death matching
I guess if they
because
can't based on their rules, like how are you gonna be mad that people are just fighting each other to the death?
yeah, I mean, I think that would be incredibly difficult to regulate, which is actually
Yeah.
the only reason I think they
I
don't.
think that they don't like it, but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, because for all intents and purposes, deathmatching is the exact same as the dual arena,
Uh-huh.
just less regulated.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's how it always works. Obviously, when they banned alcohol, it still existed. It just was not regulated.
This is the PvP prohibition.
Yeah. So community chucks, as they're calling it, take this a step further. Player A may deathmatch on behalf of player C or D by using player C's GP. The same rules apply, but if player A wins, it's player C who receives the double payout. So, for instance, big streamer A doesn't have any more money, and so they can't do any more death matches. But player C is like, hey, streamer man, I'll give you all this gear, and then you can deathmatch for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, player A would normally receive a cut of the winnings, and in some cases will refuse to pay player C back, scamming them
Yeah.
if they don't get their cut. So obviously, the streamer or player A in this case always wins, and it's only good for them essentially.
Okay.
These activities essentially mirror commission staking and have become increasingly prevalent amongst previous residents of the duel arena. We want to be clear, community chucking, whether hosting or participating, is not allowed and violates the game of chance section of our game rules, which is funny because so does deathmatching. This applies regardless of whether or not the host receives a tip or not. Furthermore, any staking or dueling with the help of a middleman is also not allowed. Yeah, so it's just saying that if you are lending people GP for death matches, it's not allowed essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really see this as enforceable by them. I don't know how they would enforce
I think
that.
they'd have to force it if it was a streamer and they
Yeah.
have VODs to prove it.
Yeah, so like I said, the catalyst for this, I think, was I forgot which streamer
Maybe
it
probably
was,
don't say
but
their name, maybe.
no, I wouldn't say their name anyways.
Okay.
But a bigger streamer was taking gear. I don't even think it's because they didn't have money. I just think they didn't have money that they wanted to deathmatch with.
Mm-hmm.
And so other people were like, hey, just take my money and then deathmatch, because it's obviously one of the most popular things to watch on Twitch.
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, so people would just like give them GP just because they wanted to watch more of it. And I think that's essentially exactly what happened and why this became so upsetting. But then they rolled other real world trading stuff into it that recently became popular.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next thing that they talk about, I was actually very interested in because I've wondered about the rules about this. People in the stream told me all the time that this is okay. And that people have said it's okay.
The reason it's confusing is because there have been mixed results whenever certain mods are asked about it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's like the mods don't have a united stance on this. But now they apparently have a united stance and have made it clear in the notes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is about re-rolling giveaways. We'd also like to reaffirm our position on reroll giveaways, which is something we're already taking action on. For those unfamiliar, a reroll giveaway is an activity where participants enter, sometimes at a fee, for the chance to win something. Once a number of players have entered, the host will pick a random winner from the list of entrants. After the winner is chosen, viewers are allowed and sometimes encouraged to send the host an off-site donation or tip, normally in the form of real money, to re-roll the result of the giveaway. This can happen any number of times with a potentially infinite number of re-rolls. These types of giveaways are not allowed as they violate the rules found in the real-world trading section. And they wrote that real-world trading means buying or selling in the real world for real money, things that relate to Jagex accounts. This includes in-game items, gold, or account names. In addition, paying someone to play your account for you is covered by this rule, by the way. Hosts of these types of giveaways have and will continue to have action taken against them. Giveaways are only acceptable when they are run with good intent, simple mechanics, and must be freely open to everyone.
Yeah.
So, even the way that they worded it is still confusing. If everyone can enter a giveaway for free, I don't know. It's a whole thing. People in our Discord are upset about it. I don't care really because I never did it.
Yeah.
It's something that people were telling me I should try, and I could never get a clear answer.
Yeah, so to make it clear, this has been allowed and disallowed by various mods in the past.
A lot of people, I think, didn't know that they couldn't do this.
Yeah, so
I don't blame anyone who did it.
A really easy example of this is if someone's like, all right, I have an SGS, Ceradoma Godsword that I want to give away. Everyone enters in chat by typing a word or whatever, and then it rolls as player 1. And then player 2 is all like, hey, that sucks. I wanted to win. I'll pay you. I'll subscribe to you, or I'll gift a sub, pay you in some real world money to re-roll it.
Yeah.
And so it's not saying that they will get it. Player 2 will get it. It's just saying that
they get another chance.
They have another chance.
Yeah. So the reason it was in such a gray area is you're not guaranteeing to everyone, and presumably someone's not going to keep re-rolling forever until they get a drop.
Yeah. So I mean, potentially they could, but
but I don't think that ever really happens.
Yeah, it's an inexhaustible trade. So,
exactly. Very common thing.
It's weird because it's such a gray area, and the reason I thought it was I thought it was not allowed, but also plenty of people have streamed this, so I was also unsure.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that was probably most annoying is Mod Rock, ROQ. I'm guessing it's Rock. They had a really annoying way of coming at it on
They said
Twitter.
It was common sense.
They said that this was common sense, and
this is the most gray area of anything I've ever looked into for RuneScape. It's not common sense.
Yeah, and also that's such a
I hate when people say common sense.
Yeah, that's such a condescending way of coming at your community, as in oh, you guys are so dumb that this is so obvious and so common that you have to ask questions about it. It's this is clearly a contentious point with many people thinking different things. So why would you be so demeaning to your community?
I feel like it's in bad taste to say that about literally anything. You could ask someone anything, and why would you? I think it's just mean to just say, well, this is common sense. It's it makes people not want to ask you questions.
I think regardless, it's rude. Just regardless, it's rude. But
it reminds me of my old employers.
it's much more understandable if someone's all doing something so obvious, you drive on the right side of the road in America. That's so obvious that it's obviously that's common sense. If you're driving,
even then you can make an argument and be like, they're from another country. Who knows?
But even then, that's their responsibility to know that. That is common sense. You should know that. But this is something that is just.
This still doesn't make sense to me as railroad trading. It didn't feel like it was allowed to me, but I thought it was allowed.
Because you are not trading directly for an item or for a service.
And some people are just gifting subs not even because they care about the reroll, just because it's fun.
Yeah. So I still think this is a gray area, but apparently it's common sense. That's real world trading. I don't care regardless because we don't do it.
Yeah.
But
it was something I asked about. I remember I asked and somebody super misunderstood what I meant and thought that I was saying you have to pay or you have to be a sub to me to try to win a giveaway. Because I tried to ask Mod Ash and he didn't have an answer. And someone was like, this is actually illegal on Twitch. And I was like, I just didn't even respond. I'm like, you don't even know what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's a really good example. We asked Mod Ash.
He didn't know.
And he wasn't certain, so he directed us towards support.
And I just didn't ask because I know support doesn't respond always.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just not going to do
So
it.
it's like clearly you guys aren't all on the same page, which definitely leaves it to say that it's not common sense.
And people have been doing this for years. And
Literally years.
literally years. I don't know. I thought that was a mean way of saying it. Could have been worded better, but it makes sense that it's not allowed.
And the last part of the blog, which is kind of obvious, but you're not allowed to advertise real-world trading services.
I mean, it's common sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of common sense, but still.
People sometimes, like, I didn't know that real-world trading was an issue before. Whenever I was, like, got my Elysian, I was considering, like, should I sell this for real money? I didn't think that would have gotten me banned. I thought I would have just gotten in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. I mean, unless you, like, read the notes and stuff, not most of the rules aren't common sense.
Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, for anyone wondering, you cannot advertise real-world trading sites or gambling or anything that might be construed as real-world trading.
None of the people have offered to sponsorship us.
Many,
sponsor us for
many
the real
people,
gold.
Many people offer to sponsor us, and they offer much money.
And I'm like, you're trying to get us banned, bro. You're tempting. It's like the devil's tempting us.
It is a contract with the devil for sure. But that's that. Moving on to the next blog, which is actually a more interesting blog.
I'm very excited about this.
Much more interesting, but also much more boring at the same time.
Oh, I think it's good.
The Poll 77 and the future of quality of life updates. So this blog did come out on the 14th, just the day after the last, and it talks about the next quality of life poll. Hey everyone, it's been a while, but it's that time again. The next quality of life poll is finally upon us. But before we take you through our plans, we wanted to have a quick look back at poll 76 and talk about the future of quality of life polls. Of course, 76 was the poll that we just finished.
We've been working on for several months, right?
Yeah, taking nearly a year, I think. I mean, I'm not going to go back and look at the exact amount of time, but it took...
Because it would take us hours.
It took so much longer than initially anticipated, and they even go and talk about it here, saying that we'll be the first to admit that Poll 76 was not delivered within a reasonable time frame, and that is...
so true.
To put it nicely, it took forever. At the beginning of the year, in the planning stages of the poll, we expected to be able to deliver something relatively large with the development allocation we were assigned. However, not long after the poll was posted, the needs of the product shifted a little, and the team working on the poll were reassigned to other higher priority projects. To remedy this, the team opted to work on the smaller chunks of the poll in order to deliver them quickly.
They literally just need to hire more developers.
Yeah, they definitely do.
You got the money, Jagex. We know it.
I don't think any of the developers are slacking. It just
we just know they're
seems
understaffed.
Like they need more staff.
Yeah.
They do say that in an ideal scenario, you'll get a quality of life poll every 6 to 8 weeks, which is like
crazy.
4+ times faster than we are currently getting them. Mm-hmm. So that'd be crazy. And the poll will contain around 15 to 25 changes, both polled and unpolled. Mm-hmm. And to give you an even more say over what goes into the game, we'll include a survey alongside each poll blog, which will ask you to help us prioritize the changes. We also want to start theming polls around different sections of the game, so we can look to serve as many groups as we can.
That's cool.
In the survey, which we're all definitely going to take, yes, ? There's a section about which part of the game we should look at next. You'll notice that Poll 77 is made up of recent suggestions and other frequently asked or requested features. We actually have a weekly meeting where we review suggestions and ideas you posted on social media. So before Michelle goes into the actual questions, I just want to say I think they're being a bit overzealous here with their expectations.
I wish that they wouldn't do time frames, because then it's just like too much pressure and usually doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think this is a very dangerous game they're playing, putting time limits on quality of life fixes, because like you said, I mean, I think we all have worries that they could either rush it or more than likely they'll just not live up to the hype.
Yeah, because it's kind of like they said, everyone was working on the quality of life before, and they were like, never mind, there's more important stuff, go work on something else.
Yeah.
I'm like, until you hire a bigger team, you probably just shouldn't say.
Yeah, so they say every 6 to 8
No
weeks.
hate on the developers. Hate on the on Jagex as a company for not hiring more developers.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks is 2 months.
That is 6 a year.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, it took them approximately, I'm guessing, right, at least 4 times longer to put out this one poll. Which wasn't crazy. It's quality of life, so there's nothing crazy about it. And so for them to be like, all right, we're going to do the same amount of work 4 times faster is, I think, a lot to put on yourself and to promise.
I agree. They should have just
So
not set a time.
I agree. I definitely think it's just
It's to
never.
get us excited, but it could lead to disappointment. It's better to just be vague.
Yeah, it's almost never a good idea to put a timeline on something unless you are like dead certain.
Oh yeah, no, I put timelines and stuff all the time and regret it.
Yeah. Either way, I do hope this does work out, but I do not have high hopes.
Yeah.
They say that,
That'd be
and
nice.
I'm expecting 6 to 8 months, not 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm being honest.
But yeah, moving on to the actual questions. We'll start where most things begin in good old Lumbridge. The Lumbridge and Drainer Elite Diary has plenty of tasks to challenge higher level players, but there's one that stands out as a massive and ever-growing achievement. The task Perform the Quest Point Cape emote in the Wise Old Man's house requires players to have a quest cape. However, with 290 quest points available and more quests being added all the time, this task has gradually become a much bigger achievement than anticipated.
Yeah.
In its current state, the task seems inconsistent and unfair for newer and returning players. To fix this, we'd like to allow players with 99% of the total available quest points to simply speak to the Wise Old Man to complete the task. The team have found this to be a very fine balancing act, as we don't want to make it either too easy or too hard. We've chosen a percentage over a stacked number, as with the latter, it will eventually get easier as more quests are added, since there would eventually be more easy ones to give you the required points. While currently 1% might be a single medium quest, in 1 or 2 years' time and beyond, it's likely to make much more difference. It's worth noting that the other achievement diary task, which requires the quest point cape, wouldn't change since it already has an alternative solution. So, poll question number 1. Should we allow players with 99% of total quest points to complete the Lumbridge and Drainer Elite Diary task by speaking to the Wise Old Man without having to unlock the quest cape? I think yes. I said no at first.
I think no. And it's because I think this is lame. Not for the reasons that you would think. It's
Okay,
actually
elaborate.
It's probably the opposite. I don't know if this is going to be unpopular, but just doing quick math, 99% is a lot. For example,
You think it's still too much?
if we had 1,000 quest points, what is 1% of 1,000?
I don't know. Don't make me do math right now.
It's 10.
Oh.
Or is it 100? No,
Math.
it's 10.
I love the way you say it. Or is it not?
No, because 100 times 10 is 1,000, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if you had 1,000 quest points, you'd only
This is math with Bunebape.
you'd only be taking 10 off of that.
Yeah,
How
they should have made it
ridiculous-
lower, huh?
How ridiculous is that?
Should have made it a little lower because they're gonna add way more Grandmaster ones.
That's like the difference between like at this point you'd be all like, all right, cool. I only have Ernest the chicken to do. I don't really want to do it though. I guess I'll just get my quest cape. Like
That's the only, yeah.
like who cares at that point?
They should make it lower, huh? Like 95 or something.
What I think they should do, although it might take slightly more time, is I think they should just have a preset like amount of quests. Because for me personally, I see the quest cape as like, okay, this person has sufficiently explored
Everywhere.
and experienced the land of Gilnor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to me. Because like at that point, you've done, your dragon slayers. You've
You've
gone
been
and
all the lands.
yeah, you've checked out all the dwarves, you checked out all the elves, you've seen all the vampires, you've done it all. You know what to expect. But like, you're getting into like higher level stuff being included. Like a lot of people were upset whenever you had to do, TOB and stuff like that.
That's kind of insane to expect compared to the other Elite Diaries.
Like that, yeah, that's like above and beyond quest points for me.
Mhm.
So I think they should be all like, all right, 250 quest points. That's an amount of quest points where I feel like you've sufficiently explored and understood the Gilnor story we're trying to give you.
I don't know, but I also see what they mean where in the future there's gonna be so much easy ones.
Yeah, I think they should revisit it. Like it shouldn't be 250
like it should be for
forever.
now.
I think it should be 250 and then like in 5 years,
Make it 300.
assuming they ever come out with more quests, be like, all right, now it's 350 or something like that.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea. I
'Cause-
think for now I'm gonna vote yes on this, but maybe submit a survey thing saying that.
Because 1% is like, do they know what 1% is? I mean,
1%.
do I got to pull up the calculator? Like,
Please no.
what's 1% of 1,000?
It's 100 or 10.
All right, so like
Math.
1,000 times 0.1 or 0.01, right?
Yeah,
0.01.
we're super good at math.
It's 10.
Yeah, it's 10.
Do they not know what 1% is? It says while currently 1% might be a single medium quest.
I don't even think it's that much. I don't think it'd be anything right now.
Right now it's like 2. Wait,
Well, okay, well, it's 290.
times 0.01 is 2.9 points. That is,
I mean, I guess that is a medium,
it's
but
like, all right, I haven't done Cook's Assistant in like, the 500 hours I've been playing or more than likely.
I don't know.
It's like,
I'm gonna vote for it for now, but
it's
probably
just,
should be revisited.
I feel like that's just like, this is like one of the most baseless poll questions.
I do like the idea of them making it not the actual quest cape though, because
like-
it is getting kind of crazy.
I agree that it's way too many points to get the quest cape,
Yeah.
because by the time you have this many quest points, it's not that the quest cape is obsolete, but it's just like, oh, I could have used this hundreds of hours ago. So yeah, so before I get sidetracked, obviously this is for the achievement diary, the elite achievement diary.
But at least not that elite.
But again, I think it's just like it's just kind of crazy. I mean, obviously this is like the argument like a lot of people will make like, oh, I did all of this, so you have to do all this. But
hate that.
I don't
You
know.
want better for other people, you guys.
Like, it just feels like that. Initially, I'm guessing the Draenor Elite Diary, they're all like, all right, you had to have pretty much beat the game to get this diary achievement. And I feel like after like 250 quest points and you have your cape, if under my new ruling, then
you'd get your cape early in your new ruling.
Yeah, because I think like it should be a cape, and then like maybe there'll be like a second cape, or just like a trimmed version of the cape that shows like you actually finished all the quests.
I disagree with that part, but I do agree with the rest.
I don't know, because 290 just seems like not their original intent.
I mean, actually, I think if it is like the quest points keep getting higher and higher, they should add some more benefits to the quest cape.
Yeah, something like that.
As it gets harder.
Because I mean, you've had the same benefits of the quest cape for like
2 years.
like 100 points now.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, I feel like the quest points and like scaling diaries like this one are obsolete at this point.
They're just ever changing.
Yeah, which is, like I said, yeah, it was just I think it made sense.
Apparently we have strong feelings about this.
I think it made sense when it came out, but not now.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
But moving on from that spiel from us. So the next one is regarding rune essence pouches. So I say currently the only way to obtain an essence pouch is killing abyssal guardians, leeches, and walkers. But what if there's another way to gain these fantastically useful tools? We'd like to give players the opportunity to obtain essence pouches from Guardians of the Rift. We actually wanted to include this function at launch, but simply didn't have time to pull it. We reckon it would be thematically appropriate as well as a canny gameplay decision. Plus, it would make these valuable items available to skiller accounts. Small, medium, large, and giant rune pouches would all become available on the reward Guardian loot table, alongside the Abyssal Needle required to craft the Colossal Pouch. They'd be a relatively rare drop, as we want the Abyss to remain the most optimal way to obtain new pouches. And keeping with the usual rules, they would only be obtainable for players who don't already have the pouch. So, poll question number 2. Should we add small, medium, large, and giant Essence pouches to the Guardians of the Rift loot table? I say yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it makes sense.
I'm kind of torn on this. I kind of would like it more as being a Pearl Shop reward.
Oh, I'd like that too.
But
obtainable somehow through Guardians of the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sold on it. I probably will skip this question just because I like the way it is now. I mean, obviously, skillers probably don't like it. Hardcores definitely don't like it.
It doesn't make sense to me that a hardcore would have to risk their status going to the wilderness to get a pouch for rune crafting.
I think it's only really risking your status if you go there at like a super low combat.
Yeah, but I mean, technically they're risking it no matter what.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I don't know. I just don't really care.
I've died there a few times.
You have?
Yeah, on the GIM.
Oh, wait. You've died to players?
No.
Oh, okay.
The abyssal creatures mess you up.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I mean, a hardcore will be like, all right, I'm just not going to go there until I'm higher combat, and then it's not a problem.
I think it makes sense to have it there, though. If they have the abyssal needle, why would you not have the supplies needed for the abyssal needle available as well?
I mean, there's plenty of stuff in the game like that, though.
Hater.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't really feel strongly about it either way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I probably will just skip on this question.
Next question is also related to Guardians of the Rift. So they say, don't you hate it when your essence pouches decay while you're helping on Guardians of the Rift and you realize that you don't have the lunar spellbook activated? Well, worry no more, fellow runecrafters. We want to introduce a new way to repair pouches that's a little bit closer than the Abyss. We propose that Cordelia should be able to repair pouches for a one-time payment of 25 pearls. Once unlocked, players would be able to get their pouches repaired for just 1 pearl each time. Using NPC contact to call the Abyssal Mage yourself would, of course, still be the fastest option. This change is to make life easier for players who don't yet have the Lunar Spellbook or have forgotten to activate it. So question number 3, should we add the option to repair your essence pouches at Guardian of the Rift? It costs 25 pearls to unlock initially, 1 pearl thereafter.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote yes on that.
I would strongly vote no on this.
Because it's too easy.
No, not even that.
Why?
This diminishes the value of the Lunar Spellbook. There's not too many reasons you want the Lunar Spellbook to begin with.
It's really good for chambers, actually. Humidify.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a few, right? Humidify, Plank Make.
Vengeance is really good. Vengeance is super good.
But I mean, there's like 5 reasons why you get the Lunar Spellbook, and then there would now be 4.
I mean, I don't need to because I have the lantern now. Thank God they won't diminish. But they do say that it would still be faster to just do Lunar. It's just in case someone forgot and has extra pearls.
It would be faster, yeah, if you have Lunar unlocked. But I mean, this would make it so you would never have to get the Lunar.
I guess so. Are you gonna actually vote no, or you don't care that much?
I'd probably vote no. I don't think this is. I don't think this is like cool. I feel like it. Yeah, it diminishes too much from, and 1 pearl for each is not that much.
Yeah, I think it should be a little bit more.
I think, yeah.
But it is kind of hard to get pearls.
I agree. It's definitely a low drop rate, but I think like if you're paying to skip like a fairly significant part of the quest chain, then it should be much more.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm still gonna vote yes, but okay.
Yeah, sure.
Next up, this was actually a suggestion. It's something that would make your journeys across Gilnor a bit smoother. So the fairy rings by the Tower of Life in the Legends Guild have various bits of vegetation nearby that can give players the runaround. We propose that we hire a leprechaun or 2 to move a tree away from the west side of the rings, keeping the landscape as close to the original as possible, providing a better pathing route on your travels. So, poll question number 4. Should we move the vegetation surrounding the fairy rings at the Tower of Life and the Legends Guild for better access? Please vote yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
No, yeah, for sure.
It's so annoying.
This is one of
There's
those
no
things-
reason.
This is like the opposite of the other 2 polls, where it's like this doesn't provide a better experience to anyone.
It's
in
just
any way.
they happen to have trees there, and they added a fairy ring in the middle, and now you have to run around all the trees.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I tell you how many times I've run out of stamina trying to run around those trees, and I get frustrated?
I think it's really cool that the trees are there, and it kind of seems like it's trying to like hide the fairy ring.
Yeah, but you can't run in between the trees. They should make like an agility shortcut.
You know, I was just thinking something similar. I was like, they should make it so the trees are actually a fairy illusion, and you can walk through them.
That'd be cute.
I think that'd be cool.
You should put that on the survey.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
So, got a lot of unfinished Torstol potions lying around? How would you feel about using them to make Anti-Venom Plus, ensuring that you don't waste any precious Torstol goop? You'll get the vial back when using the unfinished potion, and you also get the same amount of XP as you would normally. You will, of course, need 94 Herbal to create the potion in the first place. It's worth noting that we made a similar change to Super Combat Potions back in 2019. So, poll question number 5. Should we allow you to use a Torstol Unfinished as an alternative to Torstol when making Anti-Venom Plus? I don't even care.
I was going to say, I do not know what this is aimed at. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you need to make antivenoms normally. I don't know what this is facilitating.
The way they're saying it, I think that you had to use the physical leaf. You couldn't use the potion.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Is
just
that...
make that a thing.
Yeah, if that's the case, that's lame. Because they said they did this to the Super Combats back in 2019. Yeah.
Vote yes then.
Yeah, if you have to use like the Torstol on like an already made potion, then that kind of
like if you accidentally use the Torstol on a vial of water and you can't use it anymore, that'd probably be very frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems kind of lame. Maybe it's I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure people that this does relate to will like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't affect me at all. So yeah, sure.
Stale bread isn't generally sought after, but this is old school RuneScape. From monkey nuts to burnt fish, all kinds of items turn out to be more valuable than expected. So next up, they are talking about the stale baguette. This comes from the Quizmaster's mystery box. It's a 1 out of 256 chance to drop. So there are 2 big problems here. It's a ludicrous rarity for a chunk of inedible bread, and it doesn't make much sense for this item to drop from the mystery box. So they now want to take this stale baguette back to its humble origins by making a potential gift from the sandwich lady. She would tell you to pick a baguette from her tray, and you'd have a 1 out of 8 chance to receive the stale baguette instead. Separately, they'd also like to make the baguette's drop rate for the mystery box from 1 out of 256 to 1 out of 32, giving everyone a good chance of wielding the almighty bread. So poll number 6, should we change the drop rate of the stale baguette from the mystery box to 1 out of 256 to 1 out of 32, And should we give the sandwich lady a 1 out of 8 chance to receive it whenever she has to pick a baguette, which technically would be more like a 1 out of 64 chance.
Yeah, because she obviously doesn't always offer baguettes.
She rarely does. I thought you already could get from the sandwich lady. I think that's a myth around the game.
I think that's how it used to be in 07.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, and I looked it up a few times because I keep forgetting. It's like a weird little urban legend that continues.
Yeah. So,
I think it should be available from the sandwich lady. The mystery box, I don't know.
I would say no from the mystery box. And I'm on the very edge of saying no from the sandwich lady because I don't want it to be too high of a drop chance.
You don't want to lose its value.
Yeah. Because as it stands, there's practically, no use for a stale baguette, obviously.
Collection log.
Exactly. So I think it being made too regular of a drop, 1 out of 8 is pretty high for if you find the baguette lady.
But if you think about it, it's just a stale baguette. It's just a random event. It's just not like hard. It shouldn't be like a hard drop to get, super rare, like a pet or something.
Sure.
It's just a random thing, like the camo outfit you get every time you do an event with a sergeant guy.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's kind of what makes it cool. Like if like every other, I mean, obviously this wouldn't be the case, but if like every other mystery box or, every third time you see the sandwich lady, you got a stale baguette, then you'd be like, oh, this is lame, another stale baguette, and you'd probably just throw it in the trash because it's worth nothing.
You have to be realistic about the drop rate. It'd be 1 out of every 32.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
This is the current problem we're having with, like, other items being, like, too prevalent is, like, they become, like, lame. Like, the only reason the stale baguette is cool right now is because it's so rare.
I just want for collection log. I think I actually got one before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think it'd be cooler if it was, like you said, it's not useful for anything, so why not make it more rare just to be, like, a cool, like, random item?
I'm the opposite of you. I don't think it's useful for anything. Just make it more common. But this one I have strong feelings about, okay?
Okay.
Speaking of drop rates, we want to look at the Jar of Darkness. You may be getting deja vu because we've actually pulled this change before and it failed by a mere 3%. Long story short, we think the drop rate for this item is disproportionately low compared to the other jar items, especially given the time needed to obtain dark totems. We'd like to make this change to give everybody a fair go at owning their own Jar of Darkness. So we crunched some numbers. This time around, we want to adjust the drop rate from 1 out of 2,500 to 1 out of 200. So question number 8, should they adjust it?
I think originally this was only so rare because of a mistake.
Yeah, it was a typo, I heard.
Yeah. So instead of 250, it was 200.
Yeah.
Or 2,500 rather.
Which is crazy. It took them this long to... They should have just changed it without pulling it. So I was grinding to get totem pieces anytime I could for several months. I only got 60 kills.
Yeah.
Getting 2,500 kills to get this drop rate's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's putting it a little... That's like... I feel like that's skewing your results in a certain light because you could just be bursting and get way more totems than you got.
I mean, have you looked at the... what's it called? The top Skatizo kills? There's not that many.
Well, yeah, because who wants to do Skatizo?
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is it's not easy to get totem pieces at all. And I think even getting 1 out of 200 is still like a lot. It's a lot, but it's more doable. Like the pet there is 1 out of 65.
Yeah.
So as it is now, it was like 5 times more than the pet.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
It's funny because we're looking at high scores, and then the first one's Nightmare, and it's like so clearly botted that it's insane.
Never know.
No, this person just has 20,000 kills. I mean, it's...
STD has like 36,000 Cerberus. You never know. People are weird.
I mean... Sure, but Nightmare takes like 11 minutes per kill.
Yeah.
It's literally 20 times more time than
Jesus.
Wow, Farmer McGee killing it. Dude.
Number 1 rank for Skatizo is 1,400 kills. They've not even hit the drop rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the second place is like 890, 613, and then it goes all the way down to 200s for the rest. Skatizo is so annoying to get to. That makes absolutely no sense. At 2,500, I'm voting yes.
Yeah, I'd vote yes just because it's the only reason you'd want it is for collection logs. So I don't think it should be that much of a chase item.
Yeah, even more so than the pet.
If it was like, let's pretend that like the arc light comes from this at that drop rate, then I'd be having a harder time with this decision because arc light's, best in slot for demons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's literally just
A
a collection
jar.
log item that you can buy. So
Yeah, especially compared to other jars, it's weird.
yeah.
All right, next up. Have you ever wondered how Charlie the Tramp knows whether you brought him freshly fished or cooked item? We know you have. We've read the postback thread. Jokes aside, the current objectives for these clue steps just aren't good gameplay and are currently one of the biggest problems with beginner clue scrolls. I think it'd be fair if you could go to the bank, grab whatever Charles asked for, and deliver it, rather than having to go out of your way to catch fresh fish or cook an item from scratch. So, question number 9 is, should Charlie the Tramp's beginner clue steps allow the player to give him items they've prepared in advance instead of forcing him to cook and fish new ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
I never know where to go fishing. Every single time he's like, get a trout. I'm like, where are trouts?
oh, really? They're right next to Barbarian Village.
But he asked for multiple different fish, and I always get them confused and go to the wrong one.
Oh, well, I mean, you should just know the game. Trouts and salmon
It
come
annoys
from
me so much.
there. Okay. But,
And I've done like 200 beginner clues, so I'm like, dang, wish they would change that earlier.
I'd say yes, just because it's beginners only.
It's a beginner clue. It should be like beginner level easy.
Yeah, and also I just don't care about beginner clues. Again, people only do them for collection logs, so
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
yeah.
Hi ho, it's off to the mine we go. Players have noticed after mining some ore, there's a random cycle or tick delay. So basically, should we remove the random cycle delay when mining ores, excluding iron, granite, and sandstone? That sounds like it was just like a mistake. So yes, I'm gonna vote yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they said they already ran some tests, and they're certain it would not affect the best in slot experience too much.
Could bring more consistency.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, I don't think anything's gonna beat granite. It's like 4 times faster than like most of the other methods. So I don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, the next question is for iron players only. So the current meta for those Ferris fellows is obtain gold ore from the blast furnace shop. However, we've noticed a level of griefing the iron version of the shop, and we'd like to put a stop to it. We want to change the iron-specific version of the blast furnace shop so that players can buy or sell items when they are not at their base stock, while stopping the price from changing depending on the stock available. We're hoping this will alleviate the griefing issue, and this obviously would not affect the normal version of the shop, iron only. Regardless of whether or not the above suggestion passes, we are going to adjust the timing of the shop's restock and destock cycle to be much faster than it currently is. So, irons only can answer this should they remove the price cutting mechanic from the iron version of the blast furnace shop and instead allow iron players to buy and sell at a fixed price. We can't vote, so does iron.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense, though.
That makes sense. I was going to say they could do that, or they could just make it where iron players have a, like, because right now, obviously, like, shops are shared. So I was thinking that they could just, if on a blast furnace world where the shops normally would have stock, they should just have a fixed stock and reset time for irons.
I mean, they kind of make it seem like that's what they're going to do.
It's kind of like what they're doing, but yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
We've not gone there in iron, so we don't know exactly how it is.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Sure.
So we've had something for iron players, and now moving on to ultimate iron players. One of the items currently missing from the perpetually useful player-owned house storage are the mining gloves. If you're not familiar, you can get these at the Mining Guild. And they give you increased rates of non-depletion for minerals, including silver and coal, all the way up to runine, even amethyst. So I think these definitely belong in the armor case alongside your trusty prospector kit. If this question passes, we'd like to offer UIM players the chance to tell us what they think the storage options should look like, whether we would stick with 1 slot for 1 pair of gloves or give you space for all 3 options, standard, superior, and expert. So question number 12, should the mining gloves be stored in the POH? And question number 13, only ultimates can answer this. If that passes, should we include space for all 3 versions of the mining glove to fit separately inside the armor case? I would say yes to both. I mean, I didn't know that you couldn't store them before. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, a lot of things can't be stored in the POH.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see why not. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm not ultimate iron, but I think that the idea of having 3 sounds cool just because I like seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and for the sake of brevity, the 14th question, they're asking if they should also add a spot for the fish sack barrel as an alternative to the fish sack in the player-owned house. So it's a way to store your fish barrel.
Yes. Also didn't know that couldn't be stored.
Yes, I think that would be really cool.
Wait, this one's interesting. Our final question involves the wilderness, and save to PvPers a bit more accessibility. So this would now enable the special attack orb whenever you choose to fight other players in the wilderness, PvP worlds, etc., etc. This method would still be slower than the classic route in the combat options tab, but will allow players to choose how they feel most comfortable using their specials. We reckon that most active PvPers will stick to their OG method, as muscle memory and fast reactions are key, but we think having the alternative option will add a nice bit of consistency to the game. So question 15, should we enable the special attack orb in the wilderness, PvP worlds, and PvP minigames? I say yes.
Yeah.
I never use my specials whenever I'm in the PvP arena because I'm not used to switching tabs.
Yeah, this is actually a really funny thing that I didn't know for many, many months after playing. For anyone that's a noob to PvP like I was, and still pretty much am.
I was like, and am.
If you're in the wilderness or PvP worlds or PvP minigames, the only way to activate your weapon special attack is by going into your first tab that changes your weapon styles and activating the special attack. You cannot use the special attack orb that's next to your minimap.
It makes me just not use it, which is annoying.
Yeah, because for the same reason that they listed here that people are still going to just use that first method.
It'll be easier for people learning.
It's the same thing for me. Like I just always use special attack that way, so it's more muscle memory for me at that point.
Agreed.
But yeah, so sure, why not?
So yeah, that is all 15 questions for the poll. So next up, going into the unpolled, they first start off by saying that they want to let peers re-enter Ape Atoll, and how's that supposed to work? As many of you know, at the end of Monkey Madness, you have to visit Darrow and accept his training before we can revisit the home of the monkeys. To allow
this, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, this of course would ruin your peer.
Yeah, you would just get leveled up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So this way, they want to make it so you can start Monkey Madness 2 simply by speaking to King Narnode, and you can travel to Atoll without Darrow's training. But there's a catch. You will still need Darrow's training to complete Duke's training, and you'll need Duke's training to use Heavy Ballista. We think this is a fair compromise that will allow peers to return to Ape Atoll without disrupting everyone else's experience. And this also means that peers will be able to complete King Awawagi's chapter in Recipe for Disaster. They couldn't before. That's wild.
Yeah.
As Adamant and Ring Gloves already have an appropriate defense requirement, 13, 34 respectively, and other gloves are subsequently gated via other quests, the gloves in the Cold Master's chest will remain the same.
Yeah, so it seems like this would just add a way for them to finish...
Not ruin their peer.
Monkey Madness 2, giving them access to... whatever they wanted access to, but also make it so that they couldn't use the Heavy Ballista, I think.
Yeah, which, I mean, does anyone want to use that?
Because you would have to actually do the training, which would ruin your peer if you wanted to get the Heavy Ballista, so it seems like a decent enough, compromise.
I think that's fine, because then they could go to the caves and burst. I'm assuming that's why you'd mostly want to go there.
Yeah.
Next up is the Play Your Own House teletabs. They're giving builders ever the option to teleport to your POA using a teletab and have it automatically set to building mode. Can you fix it? Yes, you can. A new setting in the house options menu will automatically apply if you have both the building mode and teleport inside options turned on, allowing you to teleport inside your house on building mode. With both settings enabled, the default teleport will do the trick. Otherwise, you have to right-click and use the new inside teleport option. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, easy enough.
Good one. The Deep Wildy Lever. To give you more flexibility when exiting the Wildy, we're adding a toggleable option in the settings menu, which will allow you to switch the default option of the Deep Wildy Lever from Ardoyne to Edgeville. You must complete the Easy Wilderness Achievement Diary to enable this option. As is now, you have to right-click, and I go to RD all the time on accident.
Yeah, is this something you could do with Menu Entry Swapper?
Not that I've seen, probably.
Huh.
But I've not tried. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I feel like it should be if it's not. I feel like it probably is, and I just don't know. I never use the lever, so I don't know.
Yeah. Next up, Elite Clue Drops. Good news for treasure hunters. We're applying the Elite Clue rate unlocked by completing Elite Combat Achievements to the gold chest found in Shades of Moraton and the Hallowed Sepulchre, giving you a whole more bang for your buck. Nice, more clues. I do love clues. GE Buying. If you fancy spending all your cash on one specific thing, burnt fish perhaps, you're in luck. We're adding a new buy all option to the GE that will automatically set the number of items requested to the maximum number you can afford at the desired purchase price. Don't worry, you'll be warned if you're trying to purchase or sell the item at a much greater value, 10 times or more the usual asking price. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, because I think, a lot of people will put a buy offer for 10,000 burnt fish and they can only afford 9,400 and it'll just cancel the order.
I'm thinking of the opposite where I'm going and buying bones and I'm buy 2,000 and then I'm all right, I still have some more money. Buy 300. Oh no, I don't have enough money for that. Okay, buy 250.
No, it definitely helps in both situations.
So charter ships. Tired of hearing those pesky messages from charter ships? Simply use the new yes, don't ask me again option. You'll receive them no more. We also want to hear about other areas of the game you'd like the similar don't ask again option. Tell us your ideas of on the relevant social channels or in the Poll 77 survey below.
Cool.
And then they include the link to the survey if you have any opinions or ideas you'd like to submit to them.
Yeah, easy enough. But moving on to a quick little look at the Q&A, the mod Q&A this week. So this was obviously from a few days ago. They don't post the blog until it's already happened. And so it happened on the 13th, and the blog was posted on the 17th. And this was the Quest speed running mod Q&A. And the people on were Mod Aiza, Kieran, Ed, and Rock. So it was, not the most interesting Q&A, but they did have some interesting to say on the drop rates for raids specifically. So Mod Kieran is asked, are the TOA drop rates going to be released?
That's funny that they're still not.
Yeah, they are still not. So broadly speaking, it's something we've been pretty inconsistent with, and the community has pointed this out numerous times. Going forward, what we're going to commit to is that we're going to start giving the drop rates 2 weeks after content launches. Next time we release a boss, the drop rates for their unique drops would come 2 weeks later, and we're going to try and stick to that with every launch.
It's been a month and a half.
Yeah, I think that is more than reasonable. 2 weeks actually seems kind of fast. I think it'd be reasonable to even leave it at a month.
I like the 2 weeks.
But they even go through, I thought it was kind of funny because they even go through and talk about how long it took them to come out with Chambers and even, God forbid, Barrows drop rates, which were years. So I definitely think this is an improvement. I don't think they need to make it such a drastic change, but it is, I think, welcomed either way.
Mm-hmm. And they do say that they are expecting to release a blog detailing the TOA drop rates on Friday this week. So that's one day after this episode comes out.
Yes. So look forward
hopefully that's right.
Yeah. Besides that, though,
next week. So they've changed their minds.
So I think one more thing that I wanted to cover that I thought was funny was the creation of speedrunning. I thought it was really, really funny the way this person asked this question, because I think it was necessary. The way they asked it, that is. So it says, this is an honest question without the intention of hating on the team. But how did the idea for Quest speedrunning come about? I feel like this is a game mode which appeals to a very niche set of players, and I'd love to see where the Game Jam projects are at. Could you explain more about why the decision was made to implement Quest speedrunning above other projects, which might have more appeal to the main game players? Also, can you compare how much effort it was to implement this as opposed to leagues?
They're saying, why didn't I get leagues?
I thought it was really funny, yeah, because this kind of seemed like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it was suggested to them and it wasn't out of nowhere.
Yeah, because like if I remember, they like had a blog about this, and then it was like already in beta next week. Like apparently they had already been working on this. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny the way they asked that question. Mod Rock does go into some, or Mod Ed rather, was the person that created this, and is something that they have been working with for quite some time outside of the actual mod itself. So they say, first up, how'd the idea come about it? They have a dedicated speedrunning community in Old School. It's small, but it's very dedicated, and they've been longing for official support.
Yeah, I don't think just because it's a small group, they should never be given content.
For sure. But I just thought that the question was kind of funny because, like we said last week, it is more or less like dead content already. But
to us, not to other people.
Yeah, obviously. From that, the idea was born, and it's interesting that the game jams get mentioned here because the idea started out as a personal project for myself and a few members of the team. So like I said, Mod Ed was already pretty deep into the speedrunning community, I'm guessing. And I guess he's lucky and he got to bring it to the real game.
I do want to point out one thing that they said was effort-wise, as mentioned, the beauty of this was that a lot of it was already done. We did in our free time, so it wasn't stealing development away from anything else.
Yeah.
Unpaid labor, Jagex. Are you kidding me? Pay them.
Yeah.
Pay them. My first thing I thought was, oh my god, they didn't even pay you for this. They're taking advantage of you guys, mods. Do it
to be fair, it's either they do it for on their side or they just don't add it to the game at all, because like they said, it's niche. So they wouldn't have added to the game unless they, put in the extra work.
Still makes me sad they didn't get paid for it.
Yeah, sure. As far as this final question, someone says, can you explain more about why replaying quests on our main account is technically not practical to do? Because because obviously that's
everyone's accounts aren't equal. I think is probably the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. They do say here, Mod Ed says the easiest way to answer this is to explain what we do on the speedrunning worlds. On the speedrunning worlds, whenever you hit the start speedrun button, we wipe the entirety of the save game of your account. We save a few things like settings, so you don't have to redo your key bindings, but on the whole, everything gets wiped. All that we're tracking returns to 0, and then we set up the quest for you. You could probably guess why we wouldn't want to do that on people's main accounts. I'm guessing there would just take a lot more infrastructure to do it, and that's why it's obviously not a part of the game.
Yeah.
Also, the final question in this Q&A, and the one that I wanted to cover, was actually not about speedrunning at all, and about a much more, I would say, serious problem, but it's not like, do or die, whatever. But it is about adjusting the Fang drop rate from TOA.
Everyone thinks it's dropping like crazy, which is funny because I know a lot of people who have never even been part of a raid with one.
It does have I think its prevalence is kind of crazy. Like, there is so many Fangs, which is one of the big reasons why the rapier is just pretty much free at this point.
I think that one of the things you should keep in mind is the reason that there's so much Fangs is because everyone's still at TOA. It's not like there's an absurd number. It's just like there's an absurd number of people there, so there's going to be more Fangs. There's going to be more everything there.
I mean,
same with like why the rings got so cheap.
I would agree, but the thing is, there's two problems in that TOB has been out for years. Or,
Well, TOB's been getting like less popular just because they banned all those clients.
Sure.
People were cheating with too.
Yeah, that's besides the point, though, is that TOB's been out for a very, very long time, and it's never seen a price drop in its items like this ever, like not even remotely close. So obviously TOA is having a pretty big effect on that, and on top of that, TOB is much more difficult content. It just straight up is.
But is that based on the drop rate, or is that just because the Fang is too good?
Both.
Yeah, because I don't think that they're gonna nerf it.
Because not only is the Fang just straight up outclassing most weapons in the game currently.
Which is funny. Remember when it first came out before they buffed it, and people were like, "There's no point to the Fang. No one wants the Fang."
Yeah, because on paper it doesn't look good, but
it smacks. I've heard
it is. Not only is it good in pretty much anywhere the rapier would be, it's even better than most Dragonbane weapons, which is insane to even think about. That a 30 or a 25% damage increase and accuracy increase is outclassed by a regular pointy stick.
I personally want it to become a more common drop rate, so it's even lower in price so I could buy one.
Yeah.
Because I'm very over TOA and don't think I'm going to get that drop myself for a while.
Well, I mean, luckily for you, when they nerf it, it'll be really cheap.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they will nerf it. Either way, Mod Kieran says, this is a discussion we need to have if we plan to change anything. I'm not aware of any decision that's concretely been decided thus far. I'm not sure if we have a good answer to give on whether we're happy or not.
So basically, it's on the radar, but they're not doing anything about it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aiza even finishes off by saying, where it currently sits is that we're aware that the community has been raising it as a potential issue. It's something that we're looking into. We're not just going to be making a knee-jerk reaction based on perception. Because,
I think that's smart.
Yeah, that's definitely smart. But I also am worried that we're going to end up with a blowpipe situation where they just
5 years from now,
they just never nerf it, and everyone's like, all right, cool, everyone have a Fang for every piece of content.
They're not even talking about nerfing at all. This is only drop rate.
This is only drop rate.
They don't mention anything about nerfing. They have no plans to nerf it. They're not even talking about it.
Yeah, of course.
As far as we know.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't end up that way, but
it's turn into your fears of it being too strong.
Yeah, because as it stands, like I said, the Fang is good over everything in a lot of places that it shouldn't be.
Not everywhere.
Or maybe not that it shouldn't be, but that you wouldn't expect it to be. Like,
I don't know.
It's even, I'm pretty sure, best in slot at Melee Vorkath, which is insane.
I still want it so bad.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I guess right now is a good time to buy the Rapier because its entry price is the lowest it's ever been.
Which is still pretty high, though.
Yeah,
to be clear, it's not low.
To be clear, it's still around 60 mil, but compared to the 200 mil it was 2 months ago, that's quite a big difference.
Lower, but still might be more than you're willing to spend right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend that much right now either.
It's also dropped the price of all Dragonbane weapons because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are planning on getting into killing dragons,
now's the time.
Yeah, maybe get a lance because I think they're only like 30 something mil.
Yeah. That's the more positive way that I think of stuff. People think about how bad the economy is. I think of it in a good way. Like, well, if you're interested in this weapon, it's the perfect time to buy it.
Well, I'm more worried about the whole of the game because one of the main drawing aspects of RuneScape for me is that like it makes backward compatible content relevant for a long period of time, which I think is important because if not, then you'll end up like World of Warcraft, where it's if you don't have the newest stuff, then you're behind.
Mm-hmm.
Where
I think
that's
that-
how the Fang makes me feel about a lot of content.
I think that the Dragon Hunter Lance and stuff is still pretty popular though, and it's still better than Vorkath. What I think is happening, it's like I said earlier, I think that there's just so much people at Toa that people aren't going to Hydra as much. They aren't going to, who is it, like Krill or something to get the Zamorakian spear.
Yeah.
It's just people are doing other content.
I think it's also difficult to balance because this is the first time they've come out with content that is so accessible, and to add so many best in slot items to content that is so accessible. Like, I mean, you can do TOA with a chance at the Fang with like a rune crossbow.
We haven't tried. We're assuming.
I mean,
You kid.
I've seen it many times.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can go there with like, practically trash gear and get literally best in slot gear, which is, like I said, we've just never seen something like that before. So I think
Easier said than done, though, of course.
this might be like a learning curve that they're going to have to like try and get over, because they said they want to only make raids that are accessible. Maybe, I don't know about to this degree, but that's accessible.
It's
and
still
so
hard.
if they're just, like I said, my fear is that they just keep coming out with new and better items that are easier and easier to get. And so like if you don't have the best, then you are like behind.
I think you have to be realistic about it. The raid's not that easy. It's more easy than other raids. It's not that easy still. And you have a very low chance of actually getting these best in slot items.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's like reasonable to go there and farm all the items.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying if you're doing any of the content in the game, or not any, right? Obviously that's hyperbole, but if you're doing most of the content in the game without a Fang, you're like sandbagging your results.
Should buy a Fang.
Yeah, I don't know. And so yeah, that's the only thing.
Anyway, we got very off topic here.
Yeah, it's not about its like availability so much as like how good it is and how available it is.
Mm-hmm. Which again, even though we kind of went off the rails here, they're not even talking about how good it is.
Yeah.
That's our own thing.
But yeah, I guess a good comparison is like the Tebow. It's very good at certain places, but because it's not readily available, it's still, no, it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because the Fang is so good and it's fairly available.
So instead of having it available at 50 invocation is likely, they should change it to 150 like the Missouri. That would make a huge difference.
I don't really care either way because, like I said,
you've never even done the raid.
I don't play the content I don't play the game that much, and all that goes into it.
Have you done it, Toa?
Toa, no.
Oh, okay.
So like I said, I don't really care. I'm just saying I think what they will want to do to preserve the longevity of the game is to either nerf the drop rate or nerf the item. I don't really see it continuing as having the life cycle that it has.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Moving on to the update this week, Fresh Start Worlds.
Yeah, luckily the update is very short, so we do not have a ton to go over.
They literally go over a tutorial on how to make the Fresh Start account.
Yeah.
Which
overall, this is a pretty lame update as far as.
I think it's cool, but I think that the notes are funny because they're kind of like not much to go over.
Yeah, let me correct myself. The notes are lame.
Yeah, the update itself is pretty cool.
The update's cool. Yeah, so I guess to get through it real quick, this is the Fresh Starts World blog. Obviously, this is update for today, the 19th, and it is called Fresh Start Worlds. Yeah, there you go.
The end.
The end. So for anyone that hasn't been around, we've been talking about this for a few weeks now. You are going to be forced to make a new account, brand new, if you do want to participate in the Fresh Start Worlds. So, and also it does have to be a members account, I think. Or no, it doesn't have to, but if you want to bond it from your main, you can do that, but you have to bond it separately. So the membership doesn't transfer. It's a brand new account in every way.
Okay.
So whenever you make a new account, there is a complete tutorial on how to actually join the Fresh Start Worlds.
Make an account and log in at the first 2 steps. Step 3, complete tutorial island.
Step
4, start playing.
There we go. So big
So
time
it's not
tutorial.
till you get into the main game that you go and transform into a Fresh Start account.
Yeah, so this is very similar for anyone that has seen or actually done an Iron Man. It's the same thing. You finish Tutorial Island, and then at the very end, you confirm that you want to go to a fresh start account in a fresh start world.
Yeah, very easy.
Yeah, so make sure to select that option. Don't just say go to the mainland because that's a regular account on a regular world. You have to go specifically to the fresh start worlds.
Yep.
And then once you are there, you will everything should be pretty much the same as the main game. The only difference is you will have a Fresh Start Worlds achievement points panel where you can track anything that might be achievement worthy, such as
Basically, just to make sure you're making progress, you can see the numbers going up.
exactly. And this doesn't get you any rewards. It's literally just to see that you are progressing in the game.
Yeah.
And this is going to be in your like your group content panel, close to anything like the NMZ panel that you can teleport to, like group content, or your achievements panel. It'll be in that same section. Whenever you do transfer over, you are only going to have 6 months from today until the Fresh Start Worlds are gone forever.
So April 19th, 2023, all these accounts are going to be transferred to main game.
Yeah, it should be a seamless transfer unless you leave items in your GE, but that's
going to happen.
Yeah, completely besides the point. So assuming everything goes well, you'll be done with this in 6 months. Doesn't matter if you start a month from now or 5 months from now.
Or the day before they're transferred. You will be transferred on April
19th. Your account will be transferred to the main game regardless. Your achievement points, I don't think will be transferred because they don't mean anything.
They're meaningless. Yeah, it's just to see progress.
Yes, and just a heads up for existing players, the Fresh Start Worlds will have the automated blast furnace enabled on them, and these are going to be in 423, 426, 459, 472, 473, 566, and 567. So you do have a couple world options for each of the regions. Like I said just a second ago, you are going to be able to bond this account from your main account via a new membership passcode system. It works the same way as regular bonds do. So if you have extra cash in the game, then you can buy some bonds and give it to your new alternate account.
Yeah, and this is like a little bit different. You don't go and physically trade them. You get a voucher code. You get a code via the bond redemption, and just they have to enter the code.
Yeah, obviously because this is a separate account on a separate world that you cannot get to on your main account, they made it so that you can redeem it through specifically your player inbox. So you should, if you get any emails saying that you have a bond waiting for you,
and just log in here.
Those are phishing scams. This only activates in your player inbox in game, so do not get phishing scammed.
This is interesting. So they have a stance on swapping. We see a number of questions asking about our stance with swapping gold from the main game to Fresh Start Worlds or vice versa. They want to clarify that this will not be bannable. However, this is risky, so they don't advise doing it. And if you do it, you have to accept the risk and potentially getting scammed as a result.
Yeah.
Because you'll have to use third-party websites to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So potentially can make a lot of money as long as you don't get scammed.
Yeah. I was surprised and not surprised on their response to this, because it is as close to you as you can get to real world trading without real world trading.
I agree.
In a lot of ways. But either way, this is an easy way to make a ton of gold.
Yeah.
For people that are taking Fresh Start Worlds more seriously, imagine selling the first Fang. You could probably sell it for 5 times like 5 times max cash on the main game. Obviously you're gonna have to find someone with that much money, but
there's probably already people railroad trading in it.
There's plenty of people that I'm sure have already made billions of GP on the first day of Fresh Start Worlds,
just via bonds,
just because they want, if you are the first person to get any item from like barrels, for example, a lot of those are really good early game items, and you could probably sell that for a few, dozen mil or 100 mil, depending on how desperate the person is. But like they said, none of this is through legit channels, so you're either going to have to know someone,
use your own
or
discretion.
take a risk. And for the rest of the update, they really are just advertising stuff for new players, resources that are very useful, such as the, of course, old school wiki, as well as the old school Discord. So if you are actually a new player, then definitely going to want to check out those things, especially the wiki. And that is pretty much about it. Like we said, there is not a ton going on this update. They did give a little bit of a update to the annual survey for 2022. So if you want to help shape the future of OSRS, that is going to be coming very soon. So you can check that out. This is also a chance to tell us how you can improve the game. Not only that, by doing so, you'll be in the chance of winning a one of 50 $50 Amazon vouchers. So you can potentially get money by giving your feedback.
Are they going to re-roll?
Maybe. So it closes on October 31st, and it should take around 30 to 45 minutes.
Cool.
And also, there were some changes to the quest speedrunning changes, or there were some changes to the quest speedrunning. So if you are participating in that, there's something you might want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
They did change some of the required times to get bronze through platinum for most or half the quests, it seems
Some
like.
of them they made harder, some they made a little bit easier.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to continue to change as they roll out more quests next month as well. So if you're interested in that, then luckily you have something to look forward to.
Cool.
So that's about it. We will be ending off with the Q&A as per usual, starting with our questions from over at Discord.
Yeah, so Harger asked, inspired by recent updates, if you were to develop your own special theme world, what would it be? For example, along the lines of a fresh start or quest speedrunning world. And he gives a controversial answer warning. Mine would be the trial world, where you can pay for a 1-week trial during which you have max stats, access to every location, and unlimited gold. This allows players to evaluate whether or not they want to pay for membership. This trial is only available one time per account. Anything that happens in the trial world obviously does not translate to your main account in the other worlds. So, kind of similar, but kind of different. I want a 1-week trial of just membership. You don't get a bunch of free stuff like this.
Yeah.
But you have a chance to just run free as a member and see if you think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, sure. I think that's not a bad idea. It's funny because both of those suggestions are extremely similar to something World of Warcraft already implements, and I think is a pretty good idea. Is they have trial accounts or trial modes where, for instance, if you want to try a Death Knight, for example, in World of Warcraft, but you don't want to go through the whole leveling process because your character does change drastically at max level. You can actually trial it, and so it'll give you a trial of the character with max stats and okay gear, but just to give you a feel of what the game is like playing that character.
It's interesting to see if it's worthwhile.
Yeah, so this is along those same lines. I think this would be a good idea if you I don't like the idea of having to pay for it. Like, this should just be like, oh, but also it's not in Jagex's interest to do this. So I don't see this ever
I was
happening.
thinking it's similar to like streaming services. Like Netflix is like, oh, you want an account? You have 1 week free to see if you want to pay for it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Free trials, I'm a fan of.
But also, I think it's so different because in World of Warcraft, it's like, all right, cool, you're trying out your character to see if you like that character. Whereas here, there's so many things you don't know about being maxed that you can't really try them out, I don't think.
In my version would just be, rather than like you're maxed, you're trying out stuff and it doesn't switch over, mine would be, it would be your account. You'd get membership for a week. You'd get to keep everything after. You can decide whether you want to rebond or remembership after.
Yeah.
Mine would not be a parallel universe, I don't think.
I like your idea best if
I think that counts.
If you couldn't keep everything.
Yeah, I guess that would have to fit more with the theme of the special theme world.
I mean, if you think about it, bots could just be like, all right, I'm going to do this, and then like exploit some crazy membership only thing.
So we'll do no tradesies.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Or maybe, just turning into an Iron Man for the week.
Yeah, Iron for a week. Nothing transfers over.
Yeah. Because I think like in Harger's example, if you had unlimited gold and max stats, it's like, all right, cool. Now I have, Torva and a Fang. I'm just going to go do Slayer. Like,
yeah, people would also just be real war trading, probably.
Yeah, it seems interesting.
What would you want?
Mine would be like a locked account.
Oh, like you physically couldn't leave the area.
Yeah,
That'd
because
be
like
cool.
as it is, it's all like the honor system, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, like speedrunning worlds, it's like an entire separate thing. I think they should have an entire separate thing for like how Swampletics did it. I think that'd be cool, and then it'd be like more official, and maybe they would have like very limited access outside of the swamp to like do a quest or make your life a little bit easier. But I think that'd be cool because
that'd be a fun one.
A lot of people like the Tile Man series that came out with Settled. Also became really
the first
popular.
person who ever did Tile Man, I heard.
Not even close. But so like obviously, whenever Settled comes out with a new like weird locked style account, it becomes really popular. So I think it's kind of along those lines where you can just make it an official version of that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So then, I mean, like even watching like Gluten Girl, shout out Gluten Girl _ on Twitch. She has the tile account, and sometimes you'd see her like accidentally run off the tile, and she'd be like, "Whoops, whoops, whoops, whoops," and has to go back on her tiles.
Exactly. Where it's like you don't have to mark the tile; it just automatically becomes
That would be great.
locked.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
And then it would come up with like new mechanics because maybe you literally can't leave the tiles at all, and so like your character moves weird or something.
That'd be cool.
And again, it would only go for like 6 months.
All right, our next question is from Matt on Instagram, who also wanted to give a brief shout out to the Lord of the Rings Online game. They're a huge Tolkien fan, and they said Lord of the Rings Online is beautiful and the game is great. It's a shame so few people play it now.
Yeah, it was a really fun game. Also, tell us how you say smog. Is it smog? Smog or smog?
I say both. I say smog.
You say smog?
I think I say smog.
All right, at least we can all agree smog is wrong.
I don't know what I say. I think it's like route and root. I say both. I overthink it. I just say whatever I say.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask a new question that I hope you love. Spoiler, I do love this. Halloween season's here. It's time to throw a Halloween party, but it's OSRS themed. What do you dress up as? What sorts of activities are there? What OSRS NPCs are there to interact with guests? What do I dress up as? Neve. What activities do I have? We're going to do like PvP arena, like a TwitchCon without people getting injured. A huge foam pit. We're all just fighting each other on the side of this pit. PvP.
Oh.
Foam weapons.
I was confused. I was thinking this is an in-game.
No, in real life, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's real life. Okay.
I hope so, because I don't know. Yeah, but basically, we kind of did this at a Renaissance fair in 7th grade. Basically, jousting each other for fun.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. And also, like, weirdly, like, maybe, like, tie-dye shirts almost, because they have, like, the dye and the crafting. That'd be cute.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can make that more RuneScapey, though. But yeah, I don't know. For NPCs there to interact, 100% Wise Old Man. He'd have the best stories.
Wise Old Man, yeah.
He'd have so many good stories.
Totally not super related, but that does remind me, OSRS on YouTube did just put out a video, I think yesterday, advertising for OSRS, like explaining the game and stuff like that. I think it's for the New Worlds. That's they're trying to tie it to that, but it's like the wise old man describing like
I saw on Instagram a video with him. I didn't watch it though.
Yeah, he's like there trying to describe OSRS.
He'd be a very good party guest. I just know it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has stories. So
I would also want the gnome child to be there and just stay in the corner like a little weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be so much fun though. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Maybe like a pizza cooking contest.
I was thinking because we are going to Europe soon and we are going to visit a castle, I think it'd be sick to do...
Oh my god, in a castle?
Like a Halloween-themed castle, because they already have the suits of armor and all that stuff.
You don't have to decorate.
There's very little decoration. And I think you just like have like the like more traditional like Halloween events, like, bobbing for apples and stuff like that. And then obviously there'd be like a cosplay contest or like maybe something nerdy like the best looking spec. Something like that,
That's cute. I also would like for one of my NPCs to be those knights that dance at the Folly Party Room. For us to hire dancers to stand on the table dressed as knights.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
And I'd probably be dressed up as an Anku.
Oh my god, that'd be cool. I don't know how you would do it.
I would find
it just
a
wouldn't
way.
look see-through.
No, it would be see-through.
I was just going to say, someday we'll become rich and we'll throw an OSRS party, but we can't make you see-through no matter how much money we have.
Says you.
All right. What NPCs would you want?
NPCs that I would want are, like, I'd want a troll, because that'd be crazy looking. So, I don't know, maybe, like, my arm or something like that. I don't know, maybe, like, some of the type of one-eye guys, because they seem pretty cool. They seem pretty chill.
Yeah, they're just hanging out.
Yeah, no one that like super stands out to me. Maybe some gnomes would be cool. Yeah, probably just like all the weird stuff. Maybe some people dressed up as like really legit vampires.
You know what I'm thinking about is the Pride event, how it was at the Folly Party Room and they just had like Zulra there. I just want Zulra to be there.
Yeah.
Just a giant
I just
snake.
want General Garage Door there.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious.
Just a giant ogre.
And just like get a how would that work in real life? Like an inflatable General Garage Door?
No, I want a person that big.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for our questions this week. What are you going to be doing this week, Rover?
Ooh.
So much.
I may or may not play at least 1 minute of a video game. Don't know which one.
Ooh, spicy.
More than likely
It's
not.
me a random mobile game.
Because I actually do have to I am like attempting to read a 1,500 page textbook in the next 5 days.
He's not the fastest reader.
More than likely 4 days. So I'm probably going to be spending 5 to 8 hours a day doing that.
That's great. Ew. I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, what are you going to be doing?
I want to do more chambers. Skills, get some levels up, skilling, get closer to base 90s, and watch more scary movies because I'm not in the Halloween spirit, and it's already October 19th.
Yeah,
I need to get in
October's
the
pretty much
spirit.
over.
Yeah, I never even fully decorated for Halloween. Maybe I should still.
If you think about it, I think we only have like 1 or 2 podcasts before this month's over.
Ew.
We only have 1.
All right, never mind. Close that. All right, if you guys want to watch me stream, I stream 5 days a week. Twitch.tv/Bunebape. If you guys want to ask any questions to be mentioned on the podcast, like Arger or Matt, you can at our Twitter, Bunebapeosrs, or our YouTube, or like I said, Twitch and Instagram are all just Bunebape. Just specify, hey, I have a question for the podcast.
Yep.
And yeah, thank you all for listening again.
Yes, thank you all for listening. Hopefully you all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all
very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Meet Merp.
Neat. Merp.